What's up, everybody? It's Glenn and Big Jack back with another Bears preview video. Looking ahead to Week 5 as the Bears take on the Washington Commanders on Thursday Night Football. But first, we have to talk about the Bears' pretty horrible failing to maintain a lead loss last week against the Broncos, a team that just looks like a dog shit team, to be honest. The fact that you can't hold the lead against them, it's pretty tough. They get out to a 28-7 lead. Defense starts giving up some yardage, and then Justin Fields makes critical errors in crunch time that you just simply can't make. And they let the 0-3 at the time, now 1-3 Denver Broncos come from a 21-point deficit to win in Soldier Field. Jack, uh, hit me with some of your thoughts.
Come from a historic deficit. I think it tied the largest lead that the organization has ever blown. To give up a loss in those situations, just awful all the way around. Your keys were pretty spot on. You said that the Bears needed to get out to a lead for once. They did, 28-7. You're not going to get a much better lead than that. You said we needed to establish an identity with the run. We did that. Good, solid day from Khalil Herbert. Roshan Johnson didn't really factor all too much, but I think that just had a lot to do with the fact of how efficiently they were moving the ball early on and how well Khalil managed the touches that he got. Unfortunately, your other key is something that came to bite us. You said that we need to take care of the football, particularly Justin Fields. He has I don't even know what that was, Jim Miller looking type fumble where he just flails the ball up in the air. Ends up being a scoop and score, just handing the Denver team 6 points and a hell of a lot of momentum. And then obviously the little, miscommunication with Komet to seal the deal, throwing the pick when they were trying to go back to get in field goal range. Just disappointing, tough to watch. Like you said, the Broncos are bad. They looked bad. Their defense is just as bad, if not worse, than the Bears. They're a historically bad defense, and the Bears failed to get it done at home. They last time they won a home game was September 25th of 2022. Already been more than a year since they won a game at Soldier Field, and they're creeping up on a year since they won a football game. Period.
Yeah, it's tough, man. And for as good as Fields looked in that first half, I mean, he looked great. I think everybody knew it had to do just as much with how poor the Denver defense is than what the Bears are doing. But you got to give it to the Bears. They had great sets in the first half, and then second half comes along, and the offense stops moving the ball. They stop scoring points, and then they make huge mistakes when you can't make them. And I'm still of the mindset that the bigger issue with this team is the front four on defense and really the defense as a whole. And I think that coaching is a huge issue. But Fields, you can't do that, man. Like that's for as good as you played in the first half, you throw it all away with just absolutely inexcusable errors that cost your team the game flat out. More so the fumble, interceptions. They're going to happen. Obviously, you hate to happen at a critical point in the game like that, but that fumble, it can't fucking happen, man. It's the same shit every week. It's whether it's a fumble, pick six, fucking anything. It's tough, man. It's tough as a Bears fan. But let's move on and look at this week. They're playing the 2-2 Commanders. They're playing. It's in Washington, right? It's not a home game.
It is.
It's in
Yep.
Washington. 2-2 Commanders, who their two wins, I think if I'm right, are over the Cardinals with a comeback win, and the other win that they have is they beat the Broncos by like 2 or 3 points. So it's not like they're beating the world, but they do have a tough front, and they should be well coached under Ron Rivera. They got some young pieces on offense. There's potential there, but they're a young offense too. Jack, I'm looking forward to hearing your keys to a potential Bears victory here. I think they're 6 point dogs on the sports books, but what are your thoughts? How do they get their first win?
First off, yeah, just quickly touching on Fields. You know, tongue in cheek a little bit, the Broncos are, you know, really woeful on the defensive side, but they're still an NFL team. They're still world class talent all across the board. You make it to the league, that's what you are, bottom line. And Fields did look a lot better until that fourth quarter. He really did. He was a lot more decisive. Even yes, there were certain throws where it was like, you're not going to miss them type of plays. The Komet touchdown comes to mind. I mean, I'm making that throw. So, certain ones, yeah, sure, there was just, it was impossible not to look good. But he made plenty of good on time throws into tighter windows. Like I said, a little more decisive, getting it out quicker, hitting that back foot, letting it rip. I was encouraged by certain things, but like you said, you just hit that fourth quarter and you're snapped right back to the ground floor. My first key is going to start there. Um, it's kind of similar to what you literally just said. Actually, I don't care about the interceptions so much. Sometimes you're trying to make a play. Sometimes interceptions can be on the receiver doing something foolish. Sometimes it's just the defender making a hell of a play. I'm not worried about interceptions. Key number one for me is do not fumble the ball. Justin Fields, don't put that thing on the turf. I don't know how many he's lost, but he's fumbled the ball damn near 35 times. He's fumbling the ball more than once per game. It's just so it just cannot happen. You have to value that thing. Don't put it on the floor. No fumbles from your quarterback. No fumbles from anybody. That's key number one.
Yeah, man. It seems like every week there's at least one where it's hitting the ground, and when the other team loses a ball, they seem to end up on it. When we lose a ball, it tends to be a scoop and score type situation, and the shit's getting old real quick.
Yeah.
I agree with that key, kind of like what you said on the interceptions. I mean, if you're throwing an interception, attempting a ball downfield because you're trying to light up the vertical passing game, things happen. Interceptions are going to happen. Obviously, they can't happen at a crazy rate, but these fumbles got to stop. I completely agree. What's your second key?
Key number two. Um, the Redskins are the one of the worst teams in the league as far as their offensive line. They have allowed 24 sacks in 4 games. That's 6 sacks per game for you math majors out there. The Bears' defensive line, like you mentioned, their front four is atrocious. Still, by far, the biggest weak link in the entire roster. They have to get after it. Ngakwe's got to do something. Pickens, Dexter, they got to show that those picks, are starting to come to fruition just a little bit. Got to develop. I know it's still super early for them, but start showing us something. Got to make some plays. Their interior offensive line is atrocious. They are basically out there like the Matadors holding the red curtain. Just rip through that thing, put some heat on Sam Howell. Um, you know, they're getting sacked 6 times a game. Even cut it in half. We better get 3. Get after the quarterback. Go to work. Rip up through that interior line and put some heat on Sam Howell, young quarterback, still trying to find his footing.
Amen, man. We got to start getting a little bit more pressure from the entire defensive line, but especially from the interior. I did see that Eberflus today did say that Gervon Dexter, however you say that, I think it's Gervon, is going to start getting a little bit more play time. I think the two rookie defensive tackles are averaging like 20% of the snaps or something like that. I'd like to see that get a little higher. You invested second and third round picks in the guys. Get them a little bit more playing time. Real quick on the Fields fumbles from the last point, the first point, first key to victory. He's played 32 games or 31 games in the NFL. He has 32 fumbles. Surprisingly, only 9 of them are lost. It feels like 20 are lost, but still just way too many. And you couple that with 26 interceptions in 31 games. That's damn near 2 turnovers a game. Got to cut that shit down.
Yeah, not not ideal right there. But
Nope.
yeah, and like you said, about getting the young guys some more snaps. It'd be one thing if you know some of the more veteran players are producing,
Right.
but they're not. Why not get some of the younger guys out there a little bit more? It's not going to look much worse. What's up?
I got one thought too on the defensive line.
Yeah,
When you
what's up?
okay, Demarcus Walker, who they signed.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember, but when the Bears signed him this offseason, I said that's our three technique because what people don't know is he had like 8 sacks last year, something like that, 7 sacks. Every single one of them came from the defensive interior. That's what he does. They haven't been using him on the interior. They put him on the edge, and he's not the same kind of guy. He brings more juice from the interior, so I would like to see him get a little bit more on the inside as well.
yeah. I also think it matters when you're lining up next to Simons compared to
True,
lining up
Justin
next to
Jones.
frickin' Frack.
Yeah, no, no doubt.
But yeah, key number three, the final key, and in my opinion, the most important key, the biggest crucial factor to having any chance at winning this game in Washington tomorrow is you have absolutely have to fire Matt Eberflus. There's no way they win this game if he is on the sidelines. I simply cannot see it happening. He is 3-17 as a head coach in this league. He has lost 14 games in a row. As far as I'm concerned, it's just simply impossible. He had a 28-7 lead against one of the worst defenses in NFL history and still lost the game a couple days ago. You have to fire Matt Eberflus. There's absolutely no way the Bears can win the game if he is still the head coach.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Um, I don't see where you're wrong in that statement whatsoever. All right, Big Jack's three keys to a Bears victory: no fumbles, especially not from quarterback. Number two, he wants to see the interior defensive line get some pressure on the quarterback, shake some things up, do something. And lastly, Matt Eberflus cannot be coaching the team that is on the field tomorrow. If he is coaching tomorrow, the Bears are guaranteed to lose the football game. And I agree. But Jack, those are your three keys. Real quick, there's miscellaneous reports on Twitter. I'm sure it's all bullshit because the Houses don't or the McCaskies don't fire anybody during the season. But there's reports that if the Bears do lose tomorrow, Eberflus will be let go. You buying that at all or no?
You know, I think I have to say no. I feel
Yeah.
like I'd be a sucker if I said yes, like you said, based on the history of the whole ordeal. I mean, the shortest tenure a coach has ever had under this McClaskey reign is 2 years. It was Tressman, and we all know how ugly that was. The team got to the point where they just weren't even playing; they weren't trying. It was the locker room was completely falling apart, um, and I don't think it's that bad. I do think there's the locker room is still together. It seems like there is a decent amount of effort in most cases. They're just not, the execution is not matching that effort, which is coaching. But I don't think they do it. I don't know if they set that precedent that they finally let someone rip in the middle of the season, but um, I would not be complaining.
Yeah. I mean, I think he he's got to be let go at the end of the season unless something crazy happens. If I were Kevin Warren, if I were Ryan Poles, I'd be trying to come up with an idea to let him go sooner. One last thing before we end the Bears video. Chase Claypool reports out there that um, the Bears are shopping him, trying to get a fifth or a sixth rounder, and there's no takers. Uh, you believe he's going to be cut?
Yeah, I think you have to do it. You got to rip the band-aid off. It's I've been saying for a while now, I'm as much as I just kind of ripped Eberflus, I'm even more upset with the state of Ryan Pohl's lack of ability to do anything positive, and this is the darkest cloud over his reign. Um, it's just a complete disaster. But like you said, you could shop him for a fifth, sixth round pick and hold out as maybe to the deadline. I guess if you're going to keep him away from the team, maybe it doesn't matter. But I think you just trim the fat, cut ties. He's not going to be there. You're not going to get anything for him. Everyone knows the situation. Why would they give you anything for him? I understand the thought process behind, Brock Purdy is Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the NFL draft, and he's looking like he's got a pretty good shot to go win a Super Bowl right now as a starting quarterback in this league. So I understand that everything matters. There's a value to every little thing that you're able to squeeze. I just can't see a situation in which they squeeze anything for Chase Claypool, and I think it's best off for the team as a whole to just let it rip, get him out of there. I think to me, the comments of his teammates have been the most telling. The comments of someone like Cole Kmet, for example, who played with him at Notre Dame, seems like he's truly friends with him. And he didn't have anything to offer as far as defending Chase Claypool as a teammate. His response was all, I'm friends with the guy. I care about him. I want him, to succeed. I'll always be there for him to support him in any way that I can. But he mentioned nothing about hoping that he joins the team, hoping that they
Right.
mend the relationship, giving any sort of credence to the fact that maybe there's an underlying issue that's not falling at the feet of Chase Claypool's own doing.
No doubt. No doubt. I think, yeah, you got to move on from the guy. No doubt. And I'm tired of talking about him, to be honest. Lastly, I know I said lastly like two times already. Lastly, my bet for the game, just so people know, I'm on the over 44 and a half. Bears defense can't stop anybody. Redskins are going to.
4 units, huh?
I trimmed it back to 1 unit, but uh, Redskins will score 30. It's a matter, can the Bears score 14 plus, basically? And they will. So that's
You
my bet for the game.
score prediction. We were pretty close last week. I said 28-24, and you said the Broncos were going to win 31-24.
Yep.
So we had the right numbers, just a little mixed up.
Yeah, we're close. Score prediction 30-20 Commanders.
Ooh, wow. All right, I'm going to take the Bears. I've picked them every week. Got to stay consistent. I'll go Bears 34, Redskins 17. It's going to be a party out there, man.
Oh, it's the Bears with 34-17. Oh, my God. All right, Jack, hit him one time.
Yep, let's get it done. 24 hours till our first W in a year, baby. Bears.